Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. You are welcome for online class, class 11. We are going to see third unit prose. And before that I want to ask some question. Yeah, I forgot what to ask to you. What is it? Okay. Now it happens to you forgetting something like that in this age, children, yourself? Yeah. So there is no age. So sometimes children also will forget, isn't it? So sometimes elders also will forget. Yeah. Now I hope that you are understanding the topic, what it is going to be. Yeah, very interesting topic. Sometimes we are forgetting something. Now I want to tell something. A person had taken a child, a man had taken a child, his own son or daughter, as an infant baby, or a child of 1 year like that, when it was sleeping. You know that the paramble will be there, and that he had taken. And when he used to see a bar, he was addicted to alcohol, so he just left the baby out and he went inside the bar and he took some peg or something in that, some alcohol he had consumed, and came back and saw, to his shock, the baby was not there. Just see the responsible father when a child is just left outside because of the alcohol. He was such an addict and totally forgot of the child. And you know, unexpectedly, wife came that way for a supermarket. She found a baby in the paramble outside, and she had took and she went home. She was thinking how irresponsible the husband is, and she had taken. And the man went to the police and complained that his child was missing, which he left outside the bar. And then after complaining, boarding a complaint, he just went home and asking his wife, forgetting about the complaint and the child, was asking to the wife what was his lunch. Just think over how irritation the wife would have got. So if she had really loved the child, just think over. So sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens that you will be losing your key, bike key or car key, and you will be searching. So if you have a habit of hanging in the right place, then it will be in that place. Otherwise you will be just searching. And when school starts, there is no words to say. You will be forgetting where you kept your ID card, where you kept your tie, where you kept your shoes, and that too for a month you had holidays. Just think over, you are not turned up to the school, just imagine. So you will be thinking, you will be telling your mother, I forgot where I kept. And sometimes your mother also will be forgetting, and sometimes very responsible parents, they will be knowing where they kept, and when they are following TQM, it will be in the right place where it must be, and it will be easy for you to take. Okay, so now it is very clear, and you just having wondering why Mrs. talking unnecessary things to us. It's not an unnecessary thing, children, it is related to the lesson. The lesson we are going to see is forgetting. So you can see prose third unit is forgetting, and it has been written by Robert Lund. Okay children, it is clear? Okay. Forgetting by Robert Lund and his analysis of the fundamental reasons for forgetfulness in humans. Robert Wilson Lund, an Irish writer and one of the greatest essayists of the 20th century. So he belongs to the 20th century and he is the greatest essayist, and he was just giving a reason for you why people are forgetting about anything or important issues. In this essay, Forgetting, Robert Lund tasks the humorous look at the nature and effect of forgetfulness. So you just think over the humor and nature of forgetfulness. It is naturally happening, and because of that some humor also takes place. Authors wonder, why he wonders? The article lost by the railway travellers were on the sale at the London station when he saw a big accumulated lost over things, and especially umbrellas, bats, balls, and so many things. The statistical data shows the absent-mindedness among people is common. The inefficiency of human mind compels him to wonder. So it is very clear, it compels him to wonder why this is taking place. Things remembered by people. So some things they are not forgetting, they are remembering it. Modern man remembers telephone numbers, the address of his friends. You know that if his or a friend is very close and they love her very much, they will not forget her phone number and address. You know, once Einstein was researching and he was just making a call to the office and asking his home address. So because he was interested not in home and his address, residence, he was always thinking about his scientific facts. It was running in his mind, quite natural that he forgot his residence. And it was very important in children also. Sometimes children will be very playful and totally they forget themselves, or sometimes the incident which had happened, they'll be just thinking that and enjoying it, so they'll be forgetting what is their natural way of life, and totally they forget what was happening. Sometimes they misplace something, or they leave the thing in the railway carriage and go, or in school they leave and go out of excitement. Sometimes kids used to do that. So if they have interest in eating, they will be taking the tiffin box without. Sometimes mother will be giving breakfast. When they are not interested in that, they were interested in something else, and they will forget the tiffin box to take to school. Sometimes after eating it is no use, so they will forget to take the tiffin box from the school. So it is all happening. Sometimes they will forget and they will go, and next day they come and pick. Sometimes water bottles. In schools also we used to say pencil box, notebooks, class works. Sometimes children used to just, so that shows that they are not so interested. If they are interested, they will not lose anything. Okay. Things forgotten by people. People in London sometimes forget a single item of their clothing when dressing in the morning. Close the front doors when leaving the house. Sometimes when they are leaving the house, they will be forget to close the door, and sometimes switch off the light and fans. Sometimes they will forget, and sometimes after going somewhere they will be recollecting that whether they switch off the stove or what. So that will be running in the mind. Reason for forgetting. Certain psychologists tell that we forget things because we wish to forget them. So psychologists say that we wish to forget, so we are forgetting that. We forget to take medicine at the appointed hours because of antipathy of pills and potions. So sometimes it will happen. Most of them, they will be very cautious of their life, so they will not forget to take the pills because life is very important for them. So they will be taking the medicine in a regular time. But sometimes it is not like that. What will happen? The people will be not taking the pills. Doctor will be advising some tablet to take before food and some after food, but totally they will get confused and they will not take at all. Or sometimes they will be exchange and take. So sometimes some people so innocent, they will be taking what? All the 3 meal one day like that, one meal like that, they will be taking all the 3 medicine one time, and it will be overdose for them. Sometimes it happens, because I forgot morning, let me take. So it is possible, children. So you must keep in mind everything so that you will not forget. Commonest form of forgetfulness is, the most commonest form of forgetfulness occurs in posting letters. Sometimes will be somebody giving a letter to you to post, totally you forget. Or the letter which you won't wrote, you will be going and passing the post office, and you will be just coming back. After coming off the way, you will be remembering, oh, I have to post this letter, I forgot. So, okay children, this is clear. Shall we move to the lesson now? Okay. So, how forgetfulness are you? We are all forgetful at times and would like to find ways of improving our memories. So mostly everybody is forgetfulness. Sometimes some children used to say that I forgot the answer this. So let us learn this and let me memorize and keep in our memory. How to keep in our memory? Let us learn and let us not forget everything. Okay. How sharp is your memory? Take this 5 minutes memory test. The teacher will read out, okay, so this we will do in the class. Okay. Now read the humorous essay Forgetting by Robert Lynn and his analysis of the fundamental reasons for forgetfulness in humans. Okay, so this is the lesson. We'll just read and we'll enjoy the lesson, children. A list of articles lost by railway travellers and now on sale at a great London station has been published, and many people who read it have been astonished at the absent-mindedness of their fellows. If statistical record were available on the subject, however, I doubt whether it would be found that absent. So here sometimes in a railway, when they were just travelling in the railway train, they used to forget so many things and they'll keep and they just go. And this all been collected and accumulated on one day, it will be just kept for a sale. So on a sale at a great London station, it had been kept for a sale on the great London station, and people were astonished to see so many people have left, how they are absent-minded. So that was running in everybody's mind. Okay children, we'll see what it is. Okay. Absent-mindedness is common, so it is common in everybody. It is the efficiency rather than inefficiency of a human memory that compels my wonder. Modern man remembers even telephone numbers, he remembers the address of his friends, he remembers the dates of good vintage. So the author is having so much wonder in it. He was thinking, when my fellow man is keeping his address, friend's address and other fellow man's address in mind, and telephone numbers, phone numbers in his mind, and so many dates, important dates in his life, somebody's birthday or their wives or relatives, mother, father, anybody, or friends, relatives and friends' birthdays. So this all have been remembered by them. Why not when they're traveling or they're misskipping something and forgetting that? So that was a wonder in author, and he started writing this lesson. He remembers appointment for lunch and dinner. So because eating, always people will give importance for eating. Some people will give importance for eating, no children. So here lunch and dinner. So appointments for lunch and dinner, they will not forget. His memory is crowded with the names of actors and actresses and cricketers and footballers and murderers. So anything when they read in newspaper about murder or crime or who had done that all, so that all will be in his mind. And sometimes cricketers and sometimes actor and actress. So their names and their details, their address, that all is there in the mind. Okay children? He can tell you what the weather was like in the long past August, and the name of the provincial hotel at which he had a whale meal during the summer. In his ordinary life, again, he remembers almost everything that he is expected to remember. So when anything is expected to remember, he is able to keep in his mind and he was able to remember it. For example, so in August month, what was the highest temperature or what, and lowest temperature, how the rain was. So this all he was, weather was, climate was, he was able to keep in his mind. And last summer in which hotel he had just ate and what food he ate, it was in his mind. So he is able to keep that in his mind very clearly. How? When these all in his mind, why sometimes he forgets? It's a wonderful question for the author, and he was just thinking that he is expected to remember. Why he is remembering? That he expected to remember. He is interested in that and his mind tells to keep in his mind and to remember, so he is remembering. So he feels important, he gives importance for that. Interest in it, make him remember. How many men in all London forget a single item of their clothing when they are dressing in the morning? So sometimes somebody will be just leaving the thing in the dressing. When he is dressing, he forgot something because opening and closing the door or opening the drawer and closing it, and wardrobe they'll be open and they forget to close it. So many things. They'll be dressing, and how many men in all London forget a single item of their clothing when dressing in the morning? Not 1 in 100, perhaps not 1 in 10,000. How many of you then forget to shut the front door when leaving the house? Scarcely more. And so it goes on through the day, almost every day remembering to do the right things at the right moment till it is time to go to bed. And then the ordinary man seldom forgets to turn off the lights before going upstairs. So here, when he is going out, he will be just locking and pulling and seeing the lock, whether it is locked properly. Sometimes 1 or 2 will be forgetting whether he closed the door or what. Sometimes he will be so absent-minded. So that means his mind is filled with so many things, and totally he was absent-minded in closing the door. So his interest and keen observation in something than closing the door. So it is very clear from morning till the evening, we have lot of things to do and lot of things to keep in mind to do it, and when we keeping that in our mind and just doing it, sometimes something we are forgetting. Okay children, till this it is very clear? Yeah. There are, it must be admitted, some matters in regard to which the memory works with less than its actual perfection. So most of things, the mind is working perfectly to do the works because we are so keen and interested in it, and that makes our mind to do it, and we are doing it. But some places we are lacking in that perfection is not there. So that only the author is talking about. There are, it must be admitted, some matters in regard to which the memory works with less than its usual perfection. In some ways the brain works with perfection. There he is not forgetting, he is keeping in mind and working it. But some places usual perfection is not there, so we are forgetting. It is only a very methodical man, I imagine, who can always remember to take. So a methodical man means a man who is very perfect in his work, and always what he is doing, he will be thinking perfect. Sometimes if takes umbrella, keeps there, and again it takes and just get down from the place. Or when he goes with something, he will be keeping in his mind that he had taken, he have to be responsible to bring it, he will be just bringing it. Okay. So for example, medicine is, doctor has prescribed for him. So for example, one incident we can say, the prescribed medicine made by the doctor will never forget. The more surprising because medicine should be one of the easiest things to remember. So medicine we have to think, as soon as we have to eat a breakfast or lunch or night dinner, either we'll be eating the medicine before our breakfast and lunch, before eating the food and after eating the food. So when you're taking food, your mind very clearly tells you have to take the medicine. So as a rule, it is supposed to be taken before, during or after meals, and the meal itself should be a reminder of it. So the meal which you are having, it will be a reminder for you. So suppose you have to take a tablet before breakfast. When you're taking your breakfast, your mind will tell, it is a reminder for you. You have to take the tablet before your breakfast or after your breakfast. So the prescribed tablet or medicine which is given by the doctor, either before the food or after the food. Suppose if it is before the breakfast, then that is a reminder, the breakfast is a reminder for you. So he has something to remind you. So your mind tells you, you have breakfast now, before in hand you have to take your medicine, or after in hand you have to take your medicine. So that is a reminder for you. It is very clear, children? Okay. As a rule, it is supposed to be taken before, during or after meals, and the meal itself should be the reminder of it. The fact remains, however, that few but the moral Jains remember to take their medicine regularly. Certain psychologists tell us that we forget things because we wish to forget them, and it may be that it is because of that antipathy to pills and potions that may people fail to remember them at the appointed hour. So suppose it is after meal or before meal, then the meal and breakfast or dinner is the reminder for you. Sometimes the fact remains, however, that few but the moral Jains remember to take their medicine regularly. So except a few, the most of them were just taking their medicine at regular intervals. Certain psychologists tell us that we forget things because we wish to forget. So the psychologist tells that we are not forgetting because we have to remember it. We are willing to forget it, so we are forgetting it. So we forget things because we wish to forget them, and it may be that it is because of that antipathy to pills and potions that many people fail to remember them at the appointed hour. So till it is very clear, children? Okay. This does not explain, however, how it is that a lifelong devotee of medicine like myself is forgetful of them as those who take them most unwillingly. The very prospect of a new and widely advertised cure-all delights me, yet even if I have the stuff in my pockets, I forget about it as soon as the hour approaches at which I ought to swallow it. Chemists make their fortune out of the medicine people forget to take. Okay, children, so till this will stop. Even the author has the problem with the taking of medicine. Let us continue in the next class, children. Until then, to receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you, children. We will meet you in the next class.